Yeah, I don't see any YouTube notification.
Good evening. Welcome back to the bright side. I'm your host, Matt. We'll leave it at that. Joining me to my side, not even going to try it tonight, is the disembodied, re-embodied voice of Joe.
Good evening. That would be to your left.
Thank you. My left?
Well, to me, it's your left.
Okay.
To the viewers, it's to your left. I'm to your left.
Really? To the viewers, you're to my right. You're to their left.
Maybe
I'm just. That's why I didn't want. That's why I didn't want to bring it up. That's why I didn't want to bring it up. Thanks so much for coming into the stream, guys. I see a couple of you in there already. As per usual, the chat is up on screen, so don't be shy. Go ahead and join in the conversation. That is why we are here.
What's this? Episode 3000?
This is episode 3000. It's actually episode 3. But it is potentially, I'm not going to say potentially, this is our final episode of The Bright Side, where we bring you nothing but happy news. Happy headlines is the order of the day.
Oh, so you just added zeros to it to make it happier. Like, you
Yeah.
know, adding zeros to someone's paycheck makes them happy.
Yeah, I just leaned on that zero key until it made me, till the number made me happy. Yeah, so this will be our final episode of The Bright Side until next week when we start our second season of Matt to Matt show. Potentially, if other Matt, who is in Texas right now, but it's a big state and he's not in that part of Texas, if he makes it back in time, and we can resume as usual. But tonight, like I said, happy headlines is the order of the day. Amor Pizza to the left. This is why. This is why I don't bring these things up. All right. Let's just go ahead and go into that mode. And there you go.
How depressing.
Ta-da. Yes. Thank you, Amor, for figuring out many zeros does not always make the situation happier. The more zeros you have is not necessarily your level of joy. Once again, same as last week, I'm wearing a new t-shirt tonight. I only bring this up because it is my favorite non-sponsor of the show. I love them even though they refuse to sponsor us. It's Loot Crates. I got another Loot Crate this week, which is also Kingdoms related, and also has a Zelda shirt. This is actually 2 shirts in one. They sewed false sleeves on. They're not false sleeves. They're real sleeves. They just sewed them together so it looks like 2 shirts in one, which is great. But actually, I brought this down, and I didn't get a chance to put everything on the shelves. So I'm going to show you guys, for those of you who haven't seen. I don't think we unboxed one on camera, ever. It's super freaking fancy. Look how big this thing is. It's just stuffed. They package these in the coolest way ever. Each one of these boxes every month is designed specifically to fold into place. Like there's no tape involved to building the box. It just folds into place, and it fits everything inside it just right, so there's no packing material. Everything just fits like a puzzle, and then it just doesn't shift in transit because everything just sits properly like the boxes of... I already unboxed a lot of these things. Do you know what this is?
I have never seen that before.
It's like a Gorgodon, I think. It's from Dungeons and Dragons.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's freaking creepy. It said 17 up adult collectible, and so I wasn't sure what to expect on the inside. The reason it says that is these spikes on the top are like freaking sharp. Like those would pierce your skin if you pushed on them hard. So this is actually goes right along with this guy. I'll find a spot for these and they can duel it out.
Are they happy creatures?
They are. They are happy, happy creatures. Look at that guy. Just nothing but joy. Nothing but joy in that face. Also, this is my favorite part, actually. Is that cool or what? Now you can see that. You can see all the studio lights. Look how shiny that is. Yeah, it's a copper mug. It says copper. It's probably copper colored. I hope it's not copper because it'll taste terrible. BioWare. I'm not even sure what this is for as far as like branding, but it looks really cool. So this is going to be my mug of water that I will set on a stool next to me so I don't spill it all over my gear. So it was that, this t-shirt, and they always have these like decorative things. And this is a 40 removable posters from the Labyrinth, which is actually kind of cool, but they're all small. And this is like the 3rd one like this that I got. So I'm thinking about doing a, do you remember? Yeah, some of these are interesting. It's, oh look, it's like concept art. I love concept art. I hadn't even opened this yet. Ooh, back behind the scenes.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie.
Yeah, this is a good one. So I'm thinking about making a collage wall because I have 3 of these now. Like Equals 3, Ray William Johnson. He took a bunch of comic books apart and like, papered his walls with just comic book pages. But you couldn't see what any of them were. It was just like you could tell they were comic books. I think I'm going to do that upstairs in my game room. The the wall of cans. I don't know if any of you have seen the VR game streams that I do. The wall of cans, I stacked up a bunch of monster cans like 4 feet high, and like glued them together, and it covers half the wall. I closed the door to the room the other day, and the whole wall just went and fell over. Apparently, I've closed the door many a time. That never happened. It happened this time. So I'm like, I don't feel like putting that back up because I had to glue each can together. So I may just pepper that wall with a bunch of removable posters. So that's good. Hey Ben in the chat, nice to see you. Let me just catch up on what we're talking about in here. That is a cool mug. It is a cool mug. This one from last week. It's kind of a tie because this one has what is this? It's like the corrupted language of what's his name? What's that called?
Mordor?
Yeah, I forget exactly what it's called, but it's that, and it's supposed to change color when you put hot liquid in it. Haven't tried it yet. Yes, it's a cool mug. I can't believe it. I'm going to be in the Guinness Book of World Records for ulcers, right? That was what that was. Yeah, great. Sarah would love Labyrinth photos and posters. What month is that from? It's from this month, so it just happened. You can't... The mug is cooler. You know, it is. Like, it's so shiny. And it's metal, and I don't know. It is cool. Yeah, it's from this month, so you can't buy it. Yeah, you have to buy it before you know what's in it. It's a mystery crate subscription. However, they usually, when they have extras, they sell them in the Loot Vault, which is like part of their website where they sell previous ones. Sometimes on sale, sometimes for more. They're typically for more than you normally would pay for the subscription because you already know what's in it. They know you know you want what's in it, and so they can charge you more for the stuff. What's funny is I'll actually see people who will sell individual items from a loot crate online for like the price of a loot crate. Specifically,
Wow.
yeah, this is a good thing that was closed. This is a Han Solo bobblehead from the 7th episode 7. This was on sale. I got this in a $20 loot crate. This was on sale for $20 the day after the loot crate arrived. Somebody was like, "You want it? $20."
Wow.
His head screws off. His head was almost all the way off. Wow. Somebody's been down here. It was Kylo, right? Yeah. No. All right. Anyway, so that's enough about the loot crate. I would recommend it. They're not all this fancy. There's a Loot Crate DX. I only get them when they're on sale. Every time I try and quit my subscription, they're like, "What about 40% off?" And I'm like, they're like 50? Cool. And so I just re-up. And they get me that way. But yeah, actually, I realized my wallet I got from Loot Crate. Most of my t-shirts I wear are from Loot Crate. I got laces for my shoes from Loot Crate. 3 of my hats are from Loot Crate. Everything on this wall is from Loot Crate. I have bowls, cups, mugs. They're like filling my house with like things that I use. It's amazing. All right. So let's get into it. We have, I forgot. We actually already have things just shared up on the wall. I like to leave it that way for this show. It's a lot simpler to just, we've got me, we've got Joe, we've got you guys, and then we have whatever it is we're talking about. I haven't checked format on this. Hold on. We do have the other screen so that you guys can see better what it is we're talking about. That's not it. That's not it either. Whoa. Hey there. What happened to that one? All right. Well, maybe we don't. Here it is. I just have to add the screen share. Cool. Whatever. Alrighty then. Okay, Joe. So hit me with a couple things that have been going on this week that we're happy.
Well, you did mention the hurricane, and I did want to bring that up, but there are some good things.
There are. I was hoping we could get to those.
We kept the International Space Station flying.
I saw the headline. I didn't read the article. How did they do that?
I didn't finish reading it.
Oh, but they did. Hey, nothing crashed. It's like it's like last week with
basically backup plans. They're prepared.
They prepared.
They planned and prepared.
That was a big theme this last week. Was, hey, we learned our lesson and we were prepared.
Yes.
Like a lot of it was not as bad as it could have been because they weren't caught off guard. They expected the worst. They planned for the worst, and when it happened, they were ready. And so it.
Something I learned from reading half of this article is the ISS is flown 100% from the ground.
Really?
Yes. So they said they send like 50,000 commands in a month on average to correct course.
That's all done from the ground?
Dodge debris.
So like if their Wi-Fi goes out up there, they're like, we had no, I'm sure they have backups. I'm sure they have backup steering wheel up there to try and pilot them to the nearest
They probably
rock.
do have some manual overrides. But yeah, everything is flown from the ground. So contact is very important.
Contact.
And we maintained it. So that's yeah. That's not even something I thought about. I mean, I did think of the common phrase Houston, we have a problem, because we actually did have a problem.
That
in
is
Houston,
true.
so,
yeah, because Houston is it's
they said some things they could do, like they didn't have to be at that particular area, that they could do remotely. But some things they had to take care of.
Wow.
So, just to keep the people safe up there. That's a pretty important thing. We actually have people flying
just through space
all the way up there,
all the time,
orbiting the Earth. Yep.
That's weird. It's weird to think
I say
about.
that to people sometimes, just randomly as a conversation starter, and they're like, "No way, you're kidding me."
Yeah.
I'm like, "How can you not know about the ISS?"
Yep.
I thought everybody knew about it.
It was a couple years ago. Like I knew about it, but I hadn't thought about it in a long time. A couple years ago, I was reading articles about the captain who had come back. What was his name? And I remember he was up there for a long, long time. And the captain of the ISS had come back, and I was like, wait, he was up there when? Hadn't thought about it. It's not publicized as much. And so I looked, and there's like live feeds.
Yeah, they do. They do have pictures of hurricane. Like they'll say, "Hey, this is what it looks like from up here," and you can kind of see.
It's more peaceful up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's actually, I think there's an app. I'd attempted to do this a while ago and then forgot about it. But you can like, it'll tell you, or no, I think it was a plugin. You know that if this then that app, like you just kind of like plug in inputs and outputs into it, and it'll like a certain thing happens and then it triggers an action. Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things was like send me an alert when the International Space Station is going to fly directly overhead of your location.
Really?
Because I wanted to, like look at it through my telescope. Actually, never found a day where it was like I had free time and the clouds were cooperating. But yeah, there are times when like you could actually see it flying overhead, not just a random satellite, but the actual space station, which I guess is a little bigger.
Excuse me.
Are you doing some rearranging? Are you making some room? What is that thing called?
A Gorgon? A Gorgodon? It's from Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, I did see a package on the counter one day that said something about Dungeons and Dragons.
He's slapping Godzilla across the face. You can't see that, but he is. That's the one. There's a big old box that said Dungeons and Dragons on the side. So, yeah. Where's that?
Yeah, Eckerd says, "I bet you could have some pretty epic battles with all those crazy characters."
Oh, he did he? And then Predator's gonna shoot him in the back of the head.
Sounds pretty.
Oh, you can't see him.
Pretty morbid.
He's a Gorgodon. You should have seen the description they had for who he was or what it was. That creature, the Gorgodon, enjoys like sending souls to the deep abyss. Kind of, it's weird. Oh. It's weird. Yeah, it's an evil thing. So it deserves to die, right? Because I disagree with its multiverse politics. All right. Well, there you go. That's the epic battle going on up there.
Speaking of epic battles in space stations.
Ha! Demigorgon. You Googled it. Don't act like you knew what that was. Gorgondon sounds better than Demigorgon. Demigorgon. Where's the accent? Demigorgon?
That's probably Demigorgon.
Demigorgon. Yeah. It's the main bad guy in Stranger Things. Wait. Does it come out of the Dungeons and Dragons game in Stranger Things because they're like playing Dungeons and Dragons, like Jumanji style? I haven't seen Stranger Things, but is that why it's from D&D, but it's actually a physical? Because Dungeons and Dragons is not something that they would like. Here's the creature from Dungeons and Dragons, and it's like Demi-Moore or Demigod or Demigirl. It is the main bad guy. That's terrifying. The main bad guy or guys? It's got two heads. It's got two faces. Neither one is blurry.
I guess it would be guys.
Guys or guys? Hey.
Co-joined.
Here we go. I've been looking for something tall to put right here. We're just going to redecorate my wall alive. Check it out. Yeah? Yeah, look at that. Takes up more space. All right, I'll just
or less space.
Sit on the mug. Well, more height. I have nothing tall to fill that height area, so it just kind of sits there empty.
Gotcha.
Useless. All right. So worth it, yes. Well, I don't know. I've heard so many good things about it, but for some reason I'm apprehensive. I don't know what it was, but right off the start, there was something about the hype that gave me this irrational anger that I was just like, no, I don't like that. The text on these is a bit crunchy, so they might need to be zoomed in a bit on these stories you're sharing.
Oh, in the articles.
Yeah, something about
you only need to see the headline for this.
Perfect. Yes. See, I pulled this one up too. We talked about this last week or the week before, I think.
This is the same asteroid.
Yeah, this one's it's the same one, but
just CNN's finally getting around to it.
Exactly. And also, good news, it's still gonna miss. So that's a plus.
Hasn't changed course.
Yeah, not in a bad way anyway. If it did change course, it didn't change course. Our direction, which is all that really counts. That's all I'm caring about these days.
Okay, so Ben Wood says the quad desk is how they kept NASA going during the flood. I don't get the reference. So.
Hey, you need one every episode. It's an Office reference. Mega desk. So Jim and Pam are out of the office for, I believe it was their first maternity leave. And while they're gone, Dwight takes all 3 of their desks, which are in a block, and switches them around. So he has what he calls Mega Desk, which is all 3 all the way around him. And he's using both their work computers. He's like gaming. I don't even know. It's like surveillance and like work. And so he has, and he's like, Jim comes in and he's running around and he's doing all the like different stuff. And he's like, I'm working, Jim, get out of here. And so Jim keeps like, he's like, okay, well, this is my computer, and he takes it back or whatever. And then Jim like walks away for a sec, comes back, and he's like moved it back together. And the next morning, Dwight comes in, and Jim has stacked them in a pyramid, like 2 desks and then the 3rd desk on top. And Jim's like up on a high seat, and he's like sitting here, and he's just like, oh, they call this quad desk, and he's like, that doesn't even make sense. There's 3 desks. He's like, good point. Yeah. So
so it's not even 4.
Nope. Just it's just 3, and he's like, they call it quad desk because he trolls. He trolls that hard on that level. Here we go. What's that? You got a picture of quad desk?
Yeah.
Excellent. Pop it up.
Yeah, not very good quality, but cool.
Yes. Zoom it. Yeah, see? Look at that. That's Dwight crawling under there. That's where his phone is. Hands his phone. He's like literally taking an order for paper under there. Oh yeah, you want how many reams? Jim's just super happy up there.
Yeah, I would be super happy. I feel like the boss of bosses.
Speaking of which, your desk can actually set into 3, right? The one you use is set up so you can put 2 desks. You have like a corner desk, which is like a sectional for 2 desks off the side, so you can have this nice, boomerang shaped.
Yeah, that's actually the one that Ben used to use.
Yeah, I think it's actually mine. I got that from the auction years ago. I have like 12 desks in this house, and there are 3 down here right now, and 1 in the next room. Because hey, you can never have enough surfaces to put things on. Right. Covering my wall with surfaces to put things on.
Surface area.
Oh yeah, that's why I got the Surface Pro 4, because it's like can't have enough surfaces. Very nice, very nice. Transition. Let me grab a couple of mine that I got today, because fancy that I actually had the same one about the asteroid missing Earth. No thanks. All of these news websites, they're this is me, right? Man, wow. Inspecting elements, huh? These news websites are so much going on. The pop-ups and everything, like, it bogs my computer down. I'm used to having like 20 windows open, but that's when I'm like researching or shopping or whatever, something that isn't news. Pop up 6, 7 news websites in separate tabs, and my RAM is just tapped out. It's a shame.
Yeah, I had to change some settings to reduce my RAM consumption.
Settings on your browser?
Yeah, on my browser.
I'm gonna have to look into that. Let's see. Amor Pizza says she hasn't watched Stranger Things. Is it really worth it? That was Ben said. Yes. There's some swearing, but other than that, great, super great suspense thriller that wasn't scary for wimpy old me. Yeah, I used to be super into those, and then I don't know. You get soft, you become like a parent or something, and like every single crisis is like, what would I do if there was a monster in my basement? It makes you, it's like Pam says, Office reference. She's like, I used to watch Pulp Fiction and laugh, but you don't do that. Hey, look at that. Want to kill the page or wait? We'll wait. We'll just find a better one. Oh no, it won't even let me do that. Oh, come on now. It said the page was busted, not the whole browser. All right, when it comes back, I'm just going to kill it.
So what's this article?
Well, this wasn't the one I wanted to start on. I was trying to shift away from. I have them listed in order, and this is the end of that order. And I was trying to go back to the beginning. I forget. Yeah. This was actually part of the Garmin smartwatch thing. This is part of. Oh, here we go. Strange signals were just spotted coming from a distant galaxy.
Yeah, that one.
3 mile asteroid, 3 mile wide. Yeah. It sounds so big and then small at the same time. Like a 3 mile wide asteroid, if it's sitting on the ground, is huge. But then you look at like Earth and you see a 3 mile asteroid and it's like, that's tiny. I see it a bitty. So I don't know, perspective.
Yeah, but at the speed that it's traveling at, it would do some serious damage.
Are you sure I'm not going to disable my ad blocker.
Only if it hits.
Excellent. Yeah, so that's not going to hit, and that's fantastic. Here's a good one. This made me smile. Lego Star Wars Millennium Falcon is the biggest, most expensive set ever. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's beautiful. Can you guys see that?
That's Lego?
That's Lego. Look at that. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. The new look how much you can see all the words.
Only $800.
Really? I'm thinking now back to when I was a kid, and I'm pretty sure the most expensive Lego set I ever got was $500, and not a kid, I was the robot ones, the programmable ones. Within reason, I wouldn't build something that intricate that costs that much money. I would end up losing a piece and lose my mind. The new $800 Ultimate Collector Series model has more than 7,500 pieces. This Lego model definitely looks like it can make the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs. Hey, clever. Provided you have enough space, and money for it. Meet Lego's outrageous new Ultimate Collector Series Millennium Falcon. It's the largest, most expensive set company's history, which they just said. Clocking in at, which they just said, and sporting a price tag. Who wrote this article? Previous record holder was under that by quite the Taj Mahal, which I'm sure was a lot less popular. I don't know if there are a lot of classic or even ancient. When was the Taj Mahal built? If there are a bunch of old architecture fans enough, they're like, yeah, I'll buy that Taj Mahal and build it just for fun. Star Wars fans trying to compete for who is the biggest Star Wars fan. I guarantee this will sell more than the Taj Mahal did. The company is touting the UCS Falcon as the largest, most detailed Lego Falcon ever. I would imagine, yeah, with its intricate exterior detailing. 4-figure cockpit, like 4 Lego figures. Dang! An intricate interior. Set also comes with 7 minifigures: Han Solo, Chewbacca, Princess Leia, C-3PO, the original trilogy, the good one, and the older Han Solo, Rey, and Finn. Why would they do that? I don't know. That's weird. Here, you can switch out people. Do they also have alternative exterior Legos that make it look older and rustier? To go along with the new episode. I don't know why, but I was happy until they said they add the new characters, and I'm like, pick one.
Oh,
pick one. Yeah, but do one or the other. That's what I'm saying. This is Millennium Falcon from which movie?
Oh, both. Hey, yeah, we're charging this much for it. Let's add everything. By the way, that's 9.43 pieces per dollar.
9 pieces per dollar. That's like pretty much 10 cents a piece, which I like to round to make generalizations like that. It's pretty much like 10 cents a piece. I think if you buy Legos in bulk, that's what you pay. If that. So that's certainly not a bad price per piece. Some of those are pretty big. I'm just saying per piece. That's not. Let's see. Okay, yeah. No, there's a spray can of Insta-Rust. There's dirt in your yard for that. No, you don't get something rusty by rubbing it in the dirt. You know what I'm talking about.
No, you just put water on it and leave it out in the sun.
Exactly. Or you get pieces that are painted to look like rust. Just as an aside, little headline: at 400 gigabytes, the new SanDisk Ultra is the world's highest capacity micro SD card. You know how many 400? You know how many floppy disks that would be? I wanted to sit down and do the math, and then I didn't do it. That would be a lot of floppy disks.
I'll
do it. Tell me, and then figure out how big each floppy disk is, and give me a volume, like a physical.
Wait, what? Hold on a second.
Never mind. Do what you're doing. I thought that was cool. I said a couple episodes ago, people were selling these. We were talking about fake glasses being sold on Amazon. People were selling fake SD cards on Amazon, and they were like, 500 gigabytes. And that was 3 years ago. And I'm like, I don't think they make those. And they're like, yeah, it's for only $6. Just a chunk of plastic. They literally took out the piece that comes in your drive when you first get it. That's just like plastic you take out, paint it on it, and they're selling those.
Wait a minute. That 400 gigs, is that an actual gig or is that a salesman gig?
We'll call it actual gigs. You know what? Be generous. Salesman gigs. Do salesman gigs.
Well, salesman gigs is not being generous. That's less space.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
We're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. At the very least, it will take this many. Yeah. That's what we'll do. To be nice. Oh, snap. Oh, gee.
Make sure I got
this one again?
Number of zeros correct.
What is it doing? Yeah, didn't like it. Smartwatches. Why? I'm going to pose this question to the chat. Would you ever buy a smartwatch? Like the I don't know, flagship smartwatch. The big ones, the $350 has a touch screen and it's like OLED screens on it and you can like watch YouTube if you want. Would you ever use that? Like ever? If somebody gave you one, it was just like, here you go, like cool, and you put it on, like how often would you be like, oh, I'm gonna check Twitter on my wrist? Because that's somehow more convenient than holding my phone in my hand. Like I love the idea of it.
The number one reason I've seen smartwatches used for, besides the keep a track of your health, is like
discrete text.
Yeah, like at work.
Yeah, what are you doing? Setting an alarm to make sure that you know,
just
a timer.
Just checking the time.
I'm checking my my productivity, sir. I was adding prices for I don't know. Yeah, but apparently they're still kind of pushing this technology, which I find kind of strange. They're still developing newer models and things like that. You think they would scale it back a bit, or at least wait longer time before, like, I don't know. It doesn't, and they haven't gone cheaper too. They haven't just been like, well, we're going to make a bunch of like $100 models that are decent so that people can at least accept the idea of them more easily. No, $300, $330. I mean, if you're going to spend a lot of money on a watch, you may as well get a smartwatch and see if you like it. I've known a couple people who have bought them. I know more people who own smartwatches than own VR headsets. So there's that. But that was actually where I wanted to go with this next, is actually this whole push for different technologies you can put on your body, like a smartwatch or like a VR headset. We were talking last week. I went on this rant about how frustrated I am with people. The gaming and technology media has just been crapping on VR for the last year. This week alone, 3 other manufacturers announced their VR headsets coming out in October for $300. Around $300, and they don't require satellite lighthouses or anything. Just the headset, inside-out tracking, which means it has all the tracking units on it. All you have to do is plug one single little cable, goes in HDMI, USB, boom, your headset. It's good. Like, it's easier, it's more accessible. It'll run Steam games depending on which Steam game you want. It actually has more resolution than the headset I own. They're all 1440 by, some are 1440 by 1440 per eyeball. Some are 1440 by 1200 per eyeball. Mine's like 10 by 11 per eye screen. So they have higher resolution. They're cheaper. They all run the Microsoft Mixed Reality program, which came as a free update to Microsoft. So a lot of companies are still kind of integrating this into usability and accessibility. There's the giant barrier to entry into the VR market was price and convenience of use. Having to set up tracking for your room and screw things into the wall and stuff's not convenient for everyone. They're making it more convenient, and apparently they haven't slowed down on that. They've only picked up. I actually saw a video of a guy today using Lenovo's new headset, which is just 2 cameras out the front. The Microsoft makes little hand trackers that go with any of these headsets. So he was just using the 2 cameras and the headset, and he was playing Superhot, which is like one of the better VR games on Steam. Playing it just like normal, like you would with any headset. So I'm just saying, it's becoming more accessible, and it is definitely the future of gaming. It is not as niche as people want to make it seem. That's all. But however, smartphones or smartwatches, I don't get that. I don't understand that. And Facebook, who bought Oculus, they think VR is going to be used as a social space. Like, I don't understand why they think it will get better than just your phone. Like, there's something that's like peak convenience. I have a readable, holdable, it keeps charged all day, beautiful screen. I can access anything I need to on it. It's big enough to do media. If I want to watch a video on it, it's big enough to view video. It fits right in my pocket. I can carry it anywhere. Who's going to be lugging around like a headset to anywhere to be like, oh, I think I'll pop on AltSpace VR, which is a social media, VR social media group. I think I'll just pop this on and hang out with my friends for a bit on the bus. Like, you can't even do that. I tried riding in a car using my Gear VR, and guess what? When the car turns, you turn, and the whole room turns. I did not think of that. Yeah, it has a compass in it. It can tell which direction you're pointing. I was like, hold on, guys.
Aside from that one insight that you just gave me, actually, I know we talked about this before, and I agreed with you. I didn't see it like taking off, but like I just had some like. Have you heard of Second Life?
I have.
It used to be called something else before that when it was more in beta.
I don't remember what it was called before that, but I have heard of Second Life.
I was surprised how big it got. I couldn't believe it. And it's just like, basically you're almost doing the same stuff in real life, except you're doing it in virtual reality.
Yep.
And it's like, it may take off if people like the idea of like just people who are geographically like too far away to really go out and do stuff. You could just group all these people together and do stuff in this same virtual area.
That is true. I've used a couple programs that will let you watch movies like Netflix in like a group theater. So you're in this virtual theater, and you can change seats, so you're sitting next to people. When you're next to someone, you can hear what's on their microphone. All VR headsets have microphones, and in a VR space, it's all proximity.
Netflix theater.
Yep. The closer you are to someone, the louder they are in your ears. And so if you don't want to hear their conversation, you move to the other side of the theater, and you're watching the video, and you can kind of hear them in the background. Or you can sit next to them and you guys can talk about the movie and watch it together with your avatars. The mouth moves when the mouth moves. You can use hand gestures and things. You can actually do lots of different hand gestures with your hands, depending on which buttons you're holding. So it is kind of moving in that direction. But Facebook thinks it's going to be like a social media. But it's going to be a lot more like Second Life, where people who want to spend time with their clan or their groups of friends or whatever hanging out online, I don't know. It just seems kind of different because they were talking about. Sorry to cut you off, but they were talking about like, people want to hang out with their grandma, who's away and spend time with their friends, and I'm like, this would be for people you've never met that you hang out with only online. Like you do online interactions like that, like World of Warcraft. When people used to do that, that was with people like you never really knew most of the time. It was I have my clan that I met online. I don't usually go out and, socialize at the mall. It's like, it's a different thing, but I don't know. I don't know why Facebook would be so adamant about the fact that everyone's going to just be using that in the future. As far as social goes, I don't think so. I think it's geared way more toward shooting zombies in the head. So, sorry, what were you saying? I cut you off.
Oh, I was thinking, I can't remember the name of the book. I only heard the audiobook version, but it's like a futuristic book where like I can't remember what I think it was called Oasis. The basically everyone, like the big thing that was like a global thing, like everyone participated in this virtual reality sim called Oasis. You get your education from there.
Ready Player One.
Oh yeah,
they're making a movie of that.
That might be what it's called.
Yeah, they're making a movie of that.
Wow.
Yeah. I saw the preview. We saw the preview when we went and saw Spider-Man.
No way.
Yeah. It was preview for Ready Player One because that's where I remember hearing about the Oasis and the kids like.
What happened?
He was like climbing in like these rubble like scrap houses that were made from like old car parts and like VR.
I cannot believe I did not recognize it because I remember that description.
Then he goes inside like this little like shed or something and he puts on his headset and poof, he's in this like digital virtual world and I was like, whoa. Yeah,
maybe I wasn't looking.
Way to scare people away from the technology, right? As it's like budding. Thanks, because
I must not have been paying attention when that ad came on.
Let me get to the chat real quick. I missed the follow up on the the floppy disks thing. Let's see. Never used spray can Insta Rust. That's where I left off. It's a lot of capacity, Ben said, for the 400 gigabyte SD card. My work phone has 16 gigs and can't be upgraded. You were talking about battery. Just for the show, Joe was talking about replaceable batteries in your phone and how for him that's a must. That was for me for a while. I kind of gave up on that, and my S7 was the first phone I have, but it's the first phone I have had that does not have a changeable battery. I've had it for a year. I'm probably going to be upgrading soon, and the battery still has as good a life as it had when I got it. Very impressed with that. Never had a device where the battery did not degrade over the first year. Pretty impressive. However, I don't think it will be a hard day when you try to sell me on a phone that you cannot upgrade the storage. My wife just got an S8, and you can upgrade the storage. That was a big selling point. It was between that and Google. Between that and the Google Pixel. Google Pixel was cheaper, and they're similar in stats. Google Pixel had mixed reviews, but the selling point was you can't upgrade the storage. I have to dump her phone storage like once a month. There's no way and she has a 128 gigabyte in there, so it's been more than that lately, but it's been longer between dumps. But still, like, I can't imagine not having changeable storage in there. That's going to be a hard wall for me to break through and be like, okay, fine, I'll buy a phone that you can't change the battery and you can't add to the to the storage. Moving along, I would never use a smartwatch. I even returned my Fitbit. You did? I remember you saying you got one. I think a Fitbit has a similar problem that like a Gear VR does for VR, where it's entry level, and so it's like some of the usability. And so some people get like a Fitbit and go, well, this doesn't do a whole lot, and it's not really worth it, because it does not do, I'm not sure which Fitbit you got, but I think only recently they came out with I think it was this week, an actual smartwatch that does the things that an Apple Watch would do. And so they get turned off kind of to the concept of a smartwatch by getting a very torn down version of what a smartwatch can do and think, well, this is a silly technology. Seems that way to me. If I did get a smartwatch, I would want to go for, and yes, I saw that. Where was it? Wait, Eckert says, did I hear that right? Matt actually found a piece of technology he can't find a use for. I haven't bought one yet because, yes, I cannot justify spending that much money. I don't want to get a cheap one because I don't want a crappy experience off the bat. I want, this is what a smartwatch can do for me. Do I ever want to buy one again based on this experience? So no, I have not been able to justify the $300 on sale, $350 normal price of a Gear S3 or whatever. I
think 12 to 15 years ago, I had this really cool watch. It was kind of slightly oversized and square, and it like you could do a lot of different functions on it. It had a calculator, had a note-taking thing.
Did it have a television remote?
No, it did not have. I don't think it had a television.
A friend of mine
remote,
did. Had one of those. It was pretty crazy.
It had like, I don't know, 7 or 8 functions. I only used a couple of them, but I thought that was pretty cool. But I totally forgot about it. I don't even know where it is or what happened to it.
Were most of those functions though like replaced by a smartphone?
But oh yeah, definitely.
That's what I'm saying. Like that was my first thought was that was you didn't have it.
Did you ever see the meme? Like, you didn't go to public school, so you probably didn't have the teachers that are like, you got to know this stuff. You're not going to be carrying around a calculator.
You're like, you want to
all your life for the rest of your, and people are carrying around calculators.
Yeah, they're also like, you could ace any test if they let you use your smartphone and give you enough time. It's like, what's what's Bernoulli's principle or whatever? And they're like, I don't know. Hey Google, what's Bernoulli's principle? Like, you could just dictate the entire test to your Google phone. Just saying. Let's see. I think I lost a bit. Salesman gigabytes. Yes, check rudely. Okay, get on with it. But they just keep an eye on their inbox. Yes. They're talking about eyeballing your smartwatch. If you're using Salesman gigabytes, 400 gigabytes is about 277,777,777.7777778 floppies, because they're 1.44 inches. What? Isn't that 1.44 megabytes?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Why did you write inches? It's 3 1/4 inch floppy, right?
Yeah. Probably.
Okay, if you're using Salesman gigabytes, which means like it would be more than that if it was actual gigabytes, right? Yeah. It would be more floppies because salesman gigabytes are 1,000 megabytes. Right. Yeah. And so they're like, it's 400,000 gigabytes.
1,000 salesman megabytes.
Yeah. Yes. See, there you go. They chop each one off at 100, right? When it's like 124 or 116.
It's 1,024. They chop it off at 1,000. And so the higher up you go, the more is chopped off.
True.
So gotcha. If you buy a terabyte hard drive, it might only be 930 gigs. You're cutting 70 gigs.
That's a good question. Amor Pizza put up there. Yeah, that's a lot of floppies. I wonder if there are even that many floppies left in existence. I wonder if there were ever that many floppies in existence.
Yeah, there were. There probably are that many left.
In landfills. Let's see. Eckert made a smart comment about me and technology. Well, if all the political rallies went to VR instead of real life, I can handle that. Yes. You know what? There should be an Antifa, or Antifa. I hate that we settled on that pronunciation. Antifa. There should be an app that's just like punch a Nazi, and then it's like put on this headset, punch all that, just endless waves of Nazis coming at you, and you can just punch them in VR, and then just get your aggression out, and then go out into society and be a human being. Freaking idiots. Let's see. Surrogates with Bruce Willis. Yes. Except. No, not except a whole lot. It's just that was physical world rather than virtual, but it may as well have been for a lot of the plot of that movie. Grandma, really? Yes. The Facebook was like thinking old. They had commercials a couple months ago of like an old guy sitting on a park bench, like using a Gear VR and being like, "Whoa, I'm in space," and it's like. Yeah, but is that really like the primary use? Is that really your target market? Is the old man on a park bench? But I know they're trying to they're reaching. They're trying to see who their market is. My dad used my Gear VR and he got really into it. So technically he's a grandpa. So I guess a grandpa.
Well, you have to think there are like VR isn't anything new. We've had several failed items in the past, so this would be
it's arced several times.
If this is the one that actually stays, all those people who are interested in the past will be really excited right now.
Absolutely. Gear VR 2016. They sold millions of Gear VR units in 2016 alone. Millions. Let's see. Samsung Gear VR, 2.3 million headsets. Google Cardboard. Does that say 84 million?
Are those just the plastic holders for the phone?
Gear VR is it's a little more than that. The Google Cardboard is like $10 or something, and it literally does just hold the phone. The Gear VR is a little more involved than that. It actually, there's actually electronics inside it. It has like a touchpad on the side so you can manipulate.
Sorry.
Okay. So that you can manipulate things in the game. It's got tapping and things like that. It has a separate charging port so you can charge your phone while you're using it. And the lenses are really good in it. So,
right, the lenses.
Yeah, the lenses are pretty good in that one. So the Samsung Gear VR sold. I tried to pull up these numbers. Where'd they go? Yes. Google Cardboard, which was super cheap, I think it was like $20, sold 84 million last year. And granted, they were giving these away like hotcakes. Like you buy a phone, and Gear VR 2.3 million, PlayStation VR 700, HTC Vive 450,000. Sorry, 745,000 HTC Vive, Oculus 355,000, and Google Daydream, which was like the Gear VR, as far as its features on it, 261,000. So a lot of them are on the market somewhere. And I was reading those stats the other day and went, I have a Gear VR upstairs that I haven't used in a while, so I put it on and remembered that it actually has better resolution because it uses my phone, which is 1440 by 2560. It has better resolution than my HTC Vive. So that was nice to be reminded of. Let's see. Going back to Russian mind control device and their headset. Man, chat's moving too fast for me now. It is in preparation for. Let me just switch modes right here. Nope, that's fine where it is. Third generation familiar relationships. We recognize when we are ancient. I thought family, Facebook inner circle option for people's profiles. Yeah, they have apps that will scan your homework and solve it for you. School kids these days. Sheesh. Yes, Amor Pizza set up here. For some reason, something about wearing the electronic device on my wrist for more than an hour at a time made my arm ache really, really bad. There is something... You know what? Kill that page. Oh, it didn't let me kill it. There is something about the heartbeat monitor. It's I think in a Fitbit it's optical monitor, but there's something about it that some people did not like. It's like those magnets people would wear on their wrist or do wear on their wrist to like improve their health or balance or something. Inversely, the smartwatches, I've heard some people kind of like get the opposite effect. Let's see. They have that VR. It's called Drunken Brawl. I actually Drunken Bar Fight. I did a stream of that. Oh, that's what it's called. Yeah, the Drunken Bar Fight. I did a stream of that. It was one of my first VR streams. It's super crazy fun. After you knock somebody out, you can actually pick them up by the scruff of their neck and seat of their pants and chuck them out the door, which is somewhat gratifying. Yeah, seriously. All you need to do is get like a mod of that game where they all have like the Hitler stash and they're all just like, you will not replace us. And then you just smack them with a black gloved hand. Let's see. Math Camp. Let's see. Young Facebook marketeer saying that the biggest untapped market is in the U.S. is the old white guy sitting on a park bench group. Funny. Yes. Yeah. How do we reach that guy? VR. Well, Eckert, that is group. Well, Eckert, that is group that has all the money. That is the group that has all the money, I assume. As observers, we can know with certainty that VR has reached market saturation when that submarket is reached. Well, you know what? True. Drunken Brawl, I've played that. Yes, it's, yeah. Well, the Butler stash, maybe? Did you mean Hitler? The Butler stash. Is there a Butler stash? I think it's a G. No, Worcester had the stash. I don't know what you're talking about. But a Trump updo would get better business. Yes, the Hitler stash. Here we go. Here's the corrections. You know what's interesting? During the election, they had a like Trump VR experience. No, I guess it was right after the election because he was in the Oval Office, and they would not have done a Trump VR thing with him in the Oval Office if it was not after the election. It was super creepy. It was like all the lights were out, but one that was like uplighting Trump, and he was like standing in front of his desk but leaning back on it, and so he looked scary. He was like 9 feet tall and very imposing and had this like creepy look on his face. And so you're in the Oval Office. Most of the lights are out. A couple like lighting the walls, you know, the up light to the walls, except like one on him, and he was like standing there all creepy, like 9 feet tall. And I'm like, is this like, shouldn't that be Bill Clinton or something? I don't know. It was weird. I expected something a little different, like sit behind the Oval Office and watch, you know, Putin and Pence like slug it out or something. That would be interesting. You know, put your digital feet up on the virtual desk. Mr. President was a game where you can protect Trump from bullets. Yes, I saw that. I never played it. I think they actually got a VR update. I think a lot of games are doing that. Yes. It's funny. The things they do with games. It's like Milo Yiannopoulos. Somebody came out with a game and he was promoting it. It's like Kill Milo or something. You throw him off a roof because that's what they do in Iran to gay people. He's gay. So it was like, get it? It's funny.
Wow, that's terrible.
It is, but he was like promoting the idea so that it was... promoting it as awareness. That's what it is. Awareness of the idea of this is normal practice some places still. I think my other page... See, the other one was... I think the only other one I had was... This isn't working for me. I'm sorry. This is just not working for me.
Well, I can bring it up. What do you look for?
There's something coming from space. There are... Oh,
the signals.
One. Yeah, there are signals.
I can actually... I could
summarize
that.
Please do.
It's coming from a dwarf galaxy. It's like they said there's a repeated burst of signals, and Actually, that's not the article that I have up right now.
No. What? Trump pledges $1 million to donation to Harvey's victims. Can't be outdone by Leonardo DiCaprio.
People have been getting on publicly, like, calling for him to donate something. So that's a piece of good news.
It is a piece of good news. I don't see how that's appropriate.
How it's appropriate?
How they're like, hey, I know you're like running the presidency or the White House, and you're actually doing a pretty decent job of disaster relief and dealing with all of this, but why aren't you giving more money? I'm just saying. You're rich. Yeah, there's a lot of people. You know how much Nancy Pelosi's worth? Why are people not calling for her to give? She's worth like $200 million.
People probably are.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the president is the leader of the country, so that's a good example that he's setting.
He should do that, but people should not call for him to do that, is what I'm saying.
Well, calling him to set a good example.
Yeah, well, that's not a good example when you're pressured into it.
You're right. If you're giving in to pressure, then you can't say that you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart.
I was at Wawa the other day, and they had the little thing. They're like, disaster relief. I'll scan the $1, the $5 or the $10. They just have barcodes, and it's like they add that to your order when you're checking out. And they're like, do you want to donate? Like the 3 people ahead of me were like, nah. And for some reason, I was like, I feel like I would not. I don't know. I feel like I would be uncomfortable. I would be uncomfortable going like, nah, I won't give $1 to the disaster relief. Like, really? I mean, but then you feel pressured into it, and then you're like, no, like I already gave some. You're making me feel like I have to. It's weird when they do that. They should just have a big old sign, and then just not ask you. Or they should just scan $1 for everybody and just have it's like that automatic gratuity added. It's like any orders of
that's called taxes.
Yep.
Let's take your money and give it to people who need it.
No, well, they could have a sign that says like, by the way, today 10% of the profits we make from your sale. So buy more things and more money. That's what they should do. Yeah. But instead they're just like, we'll give us more money. It's not like we're overpriced. We're a convenience store.
Yeah. Anyway, this back to this headline.
Sorry,
you were
my
looking
ears bothering me. I keep poking at my earbud. Yeah. Keep going.
It's all good. They're called fast radio burst. So basically, we detect, like, this is not something super new. Like, we detect them all the time. I think this one was just extra repeating. He said it's a very low chance that it's from, extraterrestrial intelligence.
However, they throw the word alien in the headline, don't they?
They don't know.
They throw it right in there. Says alien hunting project.
They're not sure the exact process that, like they said, it could be a neutron star colliding with a black hole. I feel like I hear that explanation for a lot of things. So I don't know if this is NASA's equivalent of it's a weather balloon, but yeah, they said the problem with fast radio bursts is the fast part. Like they only get them in hindsight, like once they read through the logs, so they don't have a chance to turn their telescopes to look at the actual item. I think this one, though, since it was repeating, they actually did get a chance to look and see where it was coming from, and it's coming from a small dwarf galaxy, and I think that's pretty much it. They left it at that. Like, we need more data. We need to figure out what this is. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I got.
But like I said, these science pages. No
serious moment right now.
It is a serious moment.
Serious moment right now. These science pages, a lot of times, their headline will do their best to sensationalize what it is.
That's what you have to do, or people won't read it, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, people are like, we may have. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. And you know you didn't. We may have found a cure for everyone's ailment.
Yo,
really?
Speaking of
I don't know. Maybe
though,
we don't know what we found. We found something. We don't know what it is. It may be a cure for everyone's ailment. I'm just saying.
Speaking of ailments, I don't know. Okay, so I was looking through. This guy was in like the Guinness Book of World Records or something. He has a disease that makes his skin like turn into like, it looks like tree bark. Like he looks like he's part tree, and it's so incredibly rare. That it doesn't even have an official name, but
they didn't name it after him to make him feel a little better.
I don't know, but he was in, I think he was in South America, but this person was in Israel, and they actually cured him. Or no, I think it was in Palestine. Maybe it was a Palestinian in Israel. I don't know. It was in Israeli news. So maybe it says Palestinian was cured. I have a. So that is incredible news. Whenever we find a cure for something. Yeah, something like that. A little not pleasant to look at, and it's also painful and can lead to like extreme cancer. But they cured him. He's been looking for treatments for 10 years.
Oof.
Yeah, it's very, very.
When untreated, the lesions can develop into malignant skin cancers.
I guess they do kind of technically have a name for it. Maybe it's not the official name, but it looks pretty scientific. Epidermodysplasia verruciformis.
Hey, Marin, jump in the chat. Tell us how to pronounce that. Write it phonetically. You know she's watching. She never comments, but she's like, yeah, I watched. I'm like, then where were you? Anyway, I just realized I can't wear this shirt again because I blend into the wall. I look like a floating head. I'm just saying I'm not going to. Yeah, I had a friend post on Facebook today that when he was 18, he got a cut on his hand that got infected and developed necrotizing fasciitis.
Ooh, that's not comfortable.
Flesh-eating bacteria. Yeah, they're like, well, you have a 20% chance of living. And like I said, my friend posted that. So, yeah, they said 80% mortality rate. So, this bacteria may eat you alive. And he was helicoptered somewhere. They put him in a induced coma, and he survived, apparently. Yeah, does it say how they treated it?
Oh, this...
Amor's asking.
This thing, it said, let's see, the illness is typically treated with, it's not a very typical illness, but I guess they've used antibiotics every time. Well, they used antibiotics, and then they operated to remove the lesions. They grafted skins from other parts of his body. He has surgery wounds, but they're expected to heal. So I guess they just removed all the bad parts, and I guess it's only a skin deep disease.
Only skin deep. All right. I heard.
It's a virus, though.
What's his name? I forget. Some comedian said, people say beauty's only skin deep. And he said, I think they're right, because I mean, just picture like a bodybuilder, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, just in his prime, just sitting there all flexing and like, yeah, he's a good looking guy. Now picture him without any skin.
It's terrible.
Not as good looking. Beauty is definitely skin deep.
Well, I mean, if you're only looking at beauty physically, I mean, there's much beauty in people's minds.
Yes, no, I mean, obviously, obviously,
their
it was a
actions,
joke. Yeah. But have you ever seen a brain? Not the prettiest thing ever. All right, here's something I want to end on since it's ending time. Let me move this over to my screen here, full screen that. Houston's J.J. Watt has raised $10 million for Harvey relief. That's right. Trump, give us $1 million. No, this guy raised 10 for Harvey relief and isn't finished. Check this out. Unable to return to Houston, let's just pop that right up. Because of flooding caused by Harvey and frustrated at his inability to help, J.J. Watt opened a modest little online fundraising campaign Sunday afternoon from the Houston Texans' temporary digs in Dallas. With a U-Carrying account, a pledge of $100,000 of his own money, good for him, and a goal of $200,000, in a video plea, the Texans' star defensive end started something that is making him the face of relief efforts in Houston. By late morning Thursday, the effort that began Sunday afternoon had reached a truly amazing level, $10 million, helped along by the latest big donation, $1 million each from Ellen DeGeneres and Walmart. At this point, Watt admitted that he has stopped setting goals. He did have to keep upping the goal. He was like 200,000, 500,000, $1 million, 3 million, and it just kept popping up there. I don't know that you have to do that. Like, maybe you do for this site. Kickstarter, you didn't. It was like, we need to raise $1 million, 25 million, 200 million for video games. The most funded things on Kickstarter, as an aside, sidebar, are video games. Millions of dollars. So they're like, we want a sequel to this game. Buy the rights. Millions of dollars. Crazy, huh? Who knew gamers had that much money to donate? At this point, Watt admitted he stopped setting goals. I'm going to leave the link open, he said in his latest video update, to see how high we can get it. Yeah, you think? Absolutely incredible. Yep, 10.6 million raised. My focus is very much on getting this money directly back to the people, as I've said the whole time. We have the semi-trucks being filled up, coming down here to donate supplies this weekend. A lot of the stuff, like I said at the beginning, a lot of the things coming out of this, kind of the message from this last weekend, was the preparedness. Like, as terrible as this was, how well it went. Not only with preparedness and people stepping up and being ready, but like the selflessness that sometimes, like New Orleans, there was, and I'm sure there will be and probably are, a lot of reports of people, I don't know, looting and, going into a Best Buy and taking all the expensive stuff that you don't need. I mean, there's a difference between scavenging at an abandoned Wawa for food because you're starving and you're trapped, and going to Best Buy and stealing all the iPhones. Like, that's two very different things. That was rampant in Katrina, but that happened like weeks after during cleanup and stuff. So hopefully we don't see a lot of that this time. But there's been a lot of positive stories coming out of that. And for how devastating this was, the negative, loss of life, the casualties are enormously low, remarkably so. So that's a good thing. Let's just hope that that these efforts, like this guy, $10.6 million raised is at the time of them, writing this thing. Let's just help. Let's hope that keeps going up. Did we ever find out how they treated it? You said antibiotics, right?
Antibiotics and surgery.
So that was the last thing in the chat.
And surgery. Yeah.
Let me double check this, make sure everything's still, yep, excellent. All right, so, yeah, there's a bright side. There's a bright side to everything, also with absolutely horrible, and this is I think I've heard officially said, the worst natural disaster in like decades. It's 10 feet of water in people's homes and things, and you can just tell from the pictures that it is Andrew's joke. He wrote it. I missed it. Sorry. We'll end with Andrew's joke. But yes, there is a bright side to it, and it's that people pulled together and people stepped up, and people going out in boats and rescuing people, and there's a lot of positive stories coming out of it. And it just, in hard times, people can do one of two things, and they can get very selfish, or they can get very selfless. And you see a lot of people getting selfless, and that's a wonderful thing to see. Very heartening, especially in today's world of punching people. Let's see. Fast radio bursts like the Limbaugh Morning Update. Very funny. Yeah, apparently those darn Democrats are just as bad in a distant galaxy. Very nice. I knew it. Someone tell Art Bell. Yeah, well, that's insane how they treat it. Yes, Sanders' joke. That was clever, sir. Very clever. Oh, that was weird. I didn't know autofocus was on my camera. Apparently it is. All right, well, that concludes this stint of the bright side. We'll probably bring it back if need be at some point.
So it's not actually the last episode, just the final one for now.
It's the final one of this stint is season mini season. It's a mini series. We're doing it BBC style, where you get 3 episodes, and next year you'll get 3 more when we're on break from the Chow. That's not how you spell chow, is it?
I think there's a lot of different ways to spell it.
Is that like Chinese for chow? General Chow's chicken. Chow.
I should really know.
That's what Eddie Izzard, he's like the Italians on their Vespas going, chow. That was his impersonation of Italians.
Zai Chow. Yeah, it is. Zai Chow. That's Mandarin for goodbye.
What? No, it's not. It's Italian. Chow is Italian for goodbye, isn't it?
Well,
no,
okay.
Are related. Right. See, I always am like, no, you're wrong, but that's more of an exclamation of like, I thought you were wrong, but I do trust that you're right.
This is.
Don't get me wrong. Yes. So while he's popping that up real quick, our word of the day, which we don't do on this show, but we're doing today, is chow. Yes. See, chow. ciao is Italian.
Mandarin.
Google says it's French. Well, it's ciao is also a word in
maybe it's Saijin
in English.
I think it's Saijin,
but it just means like food.
Okay, I'm gonna click the pronunciation for this.
All right, let's hear it.
再见.
What?
So,
Try again.
再见.
再见. No, that's not it.
so.
Okay, cool. All right.
Well,
The-
I mean that
That's
is
Mandarin.
it.
that's Mandarin. All right.
Saijin. So it's spelled something like.
Something like, well, not really. It's spelled. It's spelled. in
Well, I
a-
mean, there's different ways to transliterate it into our alphabet, since they have their
Oh, it looks like Zildjian, but with an A.
Saijin.
Zildjian. Yeah. So, ciao. Thanks for bringing that up, Ben. Let's just, you're gonna leave. Random word that starts a random conversation / argument. But as I was saying, thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out in this last episode of The Bright Side. Next week we will be back with Matt to Matt with the other Matt, and of course, putting the disembodied voice of Joe probably back in his studio. Maybe we'll keep him in his library.
I like libraries.
Yeah, it's a classy library with that ship. Did you make that model back there? It's very nice. Puts my wall to shame, but you know what? I'll get some trendy leatherback books and put them in here and feel better about myself. So next week we will be back, same time, same place. If you're watching this after the fact, go ahead and comment in the comments down below. The chat is on screen. We keep it there so that a record is kept, so that you can see anything that we happen to have missed. So please do join the conversation. We will address it next week on the normal show, starting with Season 2 of the Matt to Matt podcast. So until next week, we will... Oh, and it's gone. My bumper music is gone. All right, well, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much, and be safe. I don't know. Always look on the bright side. Keep looking on the bright side. Keep looking up. While I'm digging for this dang logo to pop up so I can say goodbye. Yes, safely look at the bright side. Get your bright side glasses.
Make sure they're certified.
Look at the bright side. Look on the bright side, but don't look at the bright side. Don't look directly at the bright side. Never look directly at the bright side. Just FYI.
Light at the end of the tunnel.
In the stream, or in the description down below, is a link to my gaming channel. A lot of times Joe is on there. I'm trying to get Matt on there, but Matt's lame. He doesn't like to do extracurricular anything. Sometime this weekend, possibly tonight if I'm up late enough, I'm going to be streaming something. I haven't figured out the name for it yet, but I got 3 50-cent games from Steam, and I'm going to review really quickly. I'm going to see how long these 50-cent games can keep my attention, and I'll let you know whether or not they're actually worth 50 cents. Or whether that's a scam. 50 cents is way too much to pay for them. So, and if they, hey, and then you'll know there's 50-cent games that you can get if they're good. So go ahead and follow that link, subscribe. I only do once a week streams on there too, so you won't be inundated with alerts, but that's more of a hangout, have fun channel. And hey, come play games on Steam with me and be on the stream. So, all right, we will see you guys next week. Thanks so much. Ciao.
再见。